Tough to get any momentum going when you're bowling every fourth time. So 420, probably the highest in mixed doubles, at least in the last 3 years.
Let's meet our bowlers this afternoon in the semifinal match of this mixed doubles competition. First, last week's winner, our number 3 seed, Shawn Baker from Lynn and Toni Wellspring from Methuen.
Yeah, Toni coming in with an average of 112. Her highest single is 174. Toni's best triple is 449. She bowls at a couple of places, Candlewood and North Reading and Exeter Lanes. Shawn Baker's average 129, 213 for a high single. Shawn's highest triple is 472, and he bowls at Lucky Strike Lanes in Lynn, Mass.
Shawn rolled a 688 in the roll-off, and Toni had a 624 for their 13-12 total and their number 3 seed. And they'll be taking on the second-seeded team of Jack Daley from Quincy and Janet Poch from Lynn.
Yeah, Janet has 9 Pro Tour victories, so she's one of the great bowlers in the female genre. Average 118, high single 181, a 450 high triple for Janet from Lynn, and she bowls at Lucky Strike Lanes. Jack Daley, his first appearance on television is today, average 127, high single 183. His best triple is 465, and he bowls at the Fairway in Natick and Timber Lanes in Abington.
Jack had a 706 in the roll-off, and Janet a 628 for their total of 1334, which was good enough for a second seed. Let's get right to it. We're at the semifinal round of our mixed doubles competition. We're coming back to Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire, right after this on Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is brought to you by the Thompson family of dealerships in Nashua, New Hampshire.
All right, it is week 3 of our mixed doubles competition, and we started out with 5 teams. First week, Lipke and Montplaisir defeated Caleri and Colley, and then it was Baker and Wellspring ousting Lipke and Montplaisir, and we're ready to go. Shawn Baker will be first to bowl here this afternoon at Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Some great bowling last week by the team of Shawn Baker and Toni Wellspring. 420 triple. You don't see that very often in mixed doubles competition.
Hey, you don't see it that often in singles.
Sure don't.
That let's check the Tournament of Champions. That would, I think, be first place.
And Shawn starts out with a spare. Shawn Baker bowling first for the team of Baker and Wellspring. The men will bowl first in the first string. The ladies will bowl first in the second string, and each team will have the option in the third string.
And last week, because the women were bowling so well, they chose, they collectively chose to bowl first for both teams. I mean, Toni Wellspring has been on fire.
A strike. Shawn doing a dance up here at the line. A little bit of boogalooing by Shawn Baker. You're too young to remember that, aren't you?
I'm too young to remember lots of things that you talk about. Oh, no.
Shawn will miss the spear, or will he? It comes from behind. And he almost got it in a very unconventional manner. But he'll have to settle for a 10 box. And we get our very first look at Jack Daley from Quincy. First time on television for Jack. Jack's 21 years old, an electrician for DJ Richard Electric in Situate. Could be DJ Richard. I'm giving it a little bit of a French pronunciation. Almost picked it up. Jack's only been bowling for 7 years. He was born and raised in Homestead, Florida. They don't have a lot of candlepin bowling down there.
No, I was going to say he's got that kind of 10-pin release where he's got a right-to-left spin, which a lot of the right-handed bowlers do in 10-pin, and I bet you that played a little factor in how he delivers the ball.
Right in the pocket that time, and there's a strike, and that'll take care of some of the butterflies that Jack might have been experiencing. Second frame strike for Jack Daley. And now here's Toni Wellspring from Methuen, Massachusetts. Her first ball is off the head pin, and she settled down after being nervous, she told us, at the start of the match last week, although she didn't look it.
You never would have known it.
Her first time on television. Well, really, it wasn't her first time. She's been on a few times, but it was the first time in a while.
And she admitted to being nervous.
She was on a long time ago when she was 13 on the Candlepin Champs show on Channel 5, where she won a bicycle. And she'll start out with a 9 box.
Well, I think we can safely say the last 2 weeks the women have carried the men for the most part. More strikes and more marks.
Right in the head pin. Breaks up the split and has just the 5-pin left.
She has the same kind of right to left hook that we see with Jack Daley. Gives it a bit of a spin right there at the line as she lets it go.
Toni picks up the spare in the 4th frame. And now Janet Poch. Janet's been on TV a lot, 10 times on WNDS, 30 times on the old Channel 5 shows. And her first ball is off the head pin. She's working on a strike that Jack Daley left her. Still has one more ball. Some good wood behind if she can hit the head pin. There it is. The spare goes in the strike. 2 marks in a row. Watch it one more time. The wood was perfectly set for her in the middle. Janet's been bowling for 30 years. Bowls out of Lucky Strike lanes in Lynn. Right on the head pin. Put 9 in the spare and an opportunity for bonus money. This is a $50 shot coming up right here for the team of Daley and Poch. Nope, she's not going to make it. And a 10 box for Janet Poch. Now Shawn Bailey comes back to lane 34. Shawn Baker.
What is that? It's a 4 horseman, 4-pin shimming over toward the 7, and you've got some wood wedged in.
And a pin in the back. The 9-pin is still, the 8-pin is still there. Missed the head pin.
Accuracy off just a little bit here in the first few frames for Shawn Baker, but he'll zero in, no doubt about that.
And a 9 box. There aren't many bowlers that we've seen over the last 4 years that throw the ball harder than Shawn.
Explosively, that's for sure.
Shawn's a licensed electrician working at local 103 for John Penny Electric in Cambridge. Right on the head pin there, breaks up the split. He and Kerry were married on September 2nd of this past year, the year 2000. Back in April, as the number 2 seed, he lost to Chris Beauvais in our ladder series, 395 to 370. Did hit a triple strike jackpot for $625 on his way to a 150 string. He ends up with a 9 box.
Jack Daley, a very interesting fellow. As you pointed out, Dick, originally from Florida, would like to move back there. So his girlfriend is in med school, and when she graduates, apparently they're heading back south, where there is no Candlepin bowling. But he certainly has made the most of it in the 7 years that he's been bowling.
His grandmother Mary is here, and she's the one who taught him how to bowl, and she still bowls twice a week at age 81.
I think she's seated right down in the immediate settee area with the bowlers.
And that'll be a 9 box for Jack. Jack lists as his hobbies fishing, driving race cars. He drives a Pro Street quarter-mile racing at Epping Speedway. That's Star Speedway in Epping, I think.
And he would be our first shaved head bowler that I can recall.
Going for the spare, he'll get it.
Very nice.
Delayed reaction. Watch it one more time. I wasn't aware we were keeping statistics on how many shaved hair
Oh, sure.
balls we had.
That's a new category.
New category?
You know, I think that'd be a good look for you, Dick.
I'm getting there. I'm close to being there already without any help. Thank you. Here's Toni.
Well, the 2 and the 7 remain. This is what they call a fit split, or you can make it from the outside to the right of the 2-pin, like that.
Perfectly done by Toni Wellspring.
She has really been smooth and very cool these last couple of weeks. Kind of dropped that one, but still gets a decent fill, a 5. Got away and went to the left, hitting the Brooklyn side. So it's a dinner bucket on the right with the 10-pin in the corner.
Not going to pick up the spare. Got an interesting letter here, Michael, from Louis Popolo of Brockton. Mr. Popolo writes that we mentioned Bob Foraker on the show a while back. I had bumped into Bob at a Harvard football game. He broadcast for Holy Cross. And talked about Bob and his history with Candlepin bowling. Many, many years. And Mr. Puopolo writes that his son Steve Puopolo was on the Foraker show for 13 straight weeks. He was the winner in 12, losing in the unlucky 13th week. And for his efforts, he received 12 color TV sets and 1 black and white.
So on that show, you would keep coming back as long as you want.
As long as you win a color TV. Steve
win
also appeared on Channel 5 with Don Gillis 20 times.
Huh?
And he also has a word here about pin boys as we watch Janet Poch make a nice shot.
So, gee, guess what you're getting in your stocking this year? You're getting a color TV.
Mr. Puopolo says in 1939 he set pins in the local alley in Avon for 5 cents a string, and they had a foot pedal to step on, and up popped 10 spikes on which to set the pins.
Really?
And then the spikes would disappear back into the ground after you set the pins.
Whoa.
I don't recall that at all.
No, a little before our time.
Janet for $50 right here. We'll make it. $50 shot for Janet Poch. Bonus money given away. 3 marks in a row.
And a decent lead of 19 pins plus the fill on the next ball.
And now Shawn Baker. Spread eagle for Shawn right through the middle. There go the 3 on the left side. And 1 more on the right for an 8-box.
I want to say a quick hello to a couple of fans, Dick, that watch every week in Nahant. Al and B. DeLuke. Thank you, Al and B, for watching Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS. Come see us sometime if you're up in the neighborhood. Although I don't blame you for not willing to leave Nahant. What a paradise that place is.
That pin is dancing around, surrounded by wood, but it's not going to go over. Shawn is still staring it down. All of our bowlers, by the way, are getting a copy of Candlepin 2 Bowling, courtesy of Jim Fairhurst.
I believe he's the author, is he not?
Yep.
Spare for Baker.
For Shawn in the 10th frame. Yeah, I'll give you a couple of phone numbers. If you'd like Candlepin Bowling 2, you can call in Massachusetts. It's 508-543-9249. Shawn puts a 2 in the spare, which does not help the cause very much. A 113 first string for the team of Shawn Baker and Toni Wellspring. The New Hampshire number to call is 603-742-1272 for Candlepin Bowling 2, the complete history of Candlepin Bowling and a lot of information. And those of you who are into Candlepin Bowling will find this book very interesting. You can also email Swifty at HAUNS.com. Swifty at HAUNS.com. So Jack puts an 8 in the spare, misses the spare. The string ends at 3 marks in a row. And it's an 8-box. He's at 128.
Jack bowls at Fairway Lanes in Natick, where the old Boston show was taped up to the very end about 4 or 5 years ago. Helen Slew's Bowling Center. And Timber Lanes in Abington, south of Boston. Lives in Quincy, Mass. At least for now, till he moves back to Florida.
Well, 2 on the one side and a couple more on the other side, and he's got a 1, 4, 6, 7, 10. And it's a 5 box to finish out a 133 first string for the team of Janet Poch and Jack Daley. And they lead by 20 pins over Toni Wellspring and Shawn Baker as we head to the middle string of our 3-string match. It's the semifinal round of the mixed doubles competition on Candlepin Stars and Strikes from Leda Lanes in Nashua on WNDS TV. All set to go. Janet Poch will be first to bowl in the middle string. The team of Janet Poch and Jack Daley have a 20-pin lead over Shawn Baker and Toni Wellspring. Dick Lutz with Mike Morin. Our entire WNDS TV 50 crew here at Leda Lanes in Nashua.
Next week, we get to see Tom Morgan and his partner, Karen McCormick, who were the top seeds by quite a bit of distance over Jack Daley and Janet Poch, who were in the 2nd position. So you can count on Mike Morgan being in the house as well, and maybe you get some more information about this North Shore, South Shore bowling tournament that Mike Morgan is trying to put together.
It's already put together and it's almost completed, and actually by the time people watch the show, it will be completed. Reaching the semifinal round of that tournament on one bracket.
This is an open tournament for primarily professionals.
Bob Betancourt and Craig Holbrook, and the winner of that match will have met Dave Richards for the championship by now.
Now this is a monthly deal, or whenever they can?
Don't know how frequently they're going to do it.
Not established like the WCBC, but trying to add some more competitive venues to the professional bowlers.
There were some names that are all familiar to us that participated in this tournament. Janet missed the spare. One bracket had Bob Whitcombs, Dave Richards, who's still alive, Don Richmond, Steve Plant, Scott Creighton, Mike Morgan. And the other bracket had John Lang of Rockland, Rich Lottie, Craig Holbrook, Joe Tavernese, Dick O'Connell, Mike Poulin, Matt Dennehy, Chad Foberg. A lot of familiar names to people who've been watching Candlepin bowling over the years. Tom Morgan and Mike Morgan we mentioned, and Mike Kucha. Here's Toni Wellspring. After a pair of 10s by Janet Poch.
That's a tough shot to make on the inside. Not sure she intended to do it that way, but it's almost impossible to get the ball to deflect that far over to the 7th pin.
And that will be a 9 box for Toni Wellspring.
Her 2000 ladies team event was the world champion in the tournament at Lower Sackville, Nova Scotia last fall. Included on her team Karen McCormick, who you'll see next week, Deb Regan, who's here today, Marion Brown, Karen Valancourt, and Johnny Brown. I think they're all here today cheering their teammate, Toni Wellspring on.
They look like they have a lot of fun together, don't they?
Yeah, they make a lot of noise, don't they? They're a rather spirited group. But Toni's all business up there, isn't she?
A pair of 9s for Toni.
Let go of that one a little early, dropped her shoulder, and the ball never came back up to hit the 5 pin.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV is presented by the Thompson family of dealerships, McMulkin Chevrolet, Nashua Hyundai, Nashua Mitsubishi, and Nashua Daewoo. All located in the New England Automotive Village on the Daniel Webster Highway in Nashua, New Hampshire. And an 8-box for Jack Daley. I want to acknowledge another note that we got. Mike, if I can find it, I put it down here. This came from Jeannie O'Neill, who says that she's been watching our show for a long, long time. And great to see Charlie Jutras again, she writes in the note that she sent to us. Of course, Charlie, one of the veterans of Candlepin bowling, was on the show a few weeks back.
And we hope he comes back. Big winner in the senior tour the last year or so, winning 4 out of 6 senior professional Candlepin Bowling Association stops. That is phenomenal. And you get in when you get to 50 years of age. Safe to say most of the bowlers are younger than Charlie, who I think is about 67 by now. And he took them all to school.
9-box for Jack. They're open through the first 4 of the second string. An opportunity for Shawn Baker to narrow the gap. He's right on the head pin, but not much to show for it.
Speaking of the senior tour, we have the results from the November competition. I know it's a little bit old, but because of the taping cycle, we can't always get it on time. The men's division winner was Bill Treefel. I had no idea that he was over 50. Dennis Olofsson was second, Bill Aldrich third, Henry Pasternak coming in fourth, and Gordon Crawford in fifth. Mel Honorano winning for the women over 50 group.
10-box for Shawn Baker. We've yet to see a mark in the second string.
Runner-up team today takes home $400 to the runner-up team.
Well, Shawn was on the head pin, but he left himself a tough shot, a split. Got the 2 and the 4 on the left, the 6 on the right. Piece of wood behind the 6 pin. Look at that. Would you expect that to happen?
That's where he wanted to hit it, too.
You wouldn't have expected that the 4 pin would be the last pin to stand. And that'll be a 9-box. And we're looking for our first mark of the second string as we go to the break. A 20-pin lead in the match for the team of Janet Poch and Jack Daley over Toni Wellspring and Shawn Baker as we come back to Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire for Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. Janet Poch will be first to bowl as we come back to Leda Lanes in Nashua. A 20-pin lead in the match for Janet Poch and Jack Daley over Toni Wellspring and Shawn Baker. The match even, as you see, through the first 4 frames of the second string. The 20-pin lead, 20-pin advantage after 1 is still intact. Looking for our first mark of the second string. And this would be a tough one for Janet. The 5 is in the middle. You've got the 4 and 7 on the left, the 6 and 10 on the right, some wood out in front.
Janet,
2 of the 5 go.
I think Janet is one of the winningest bowlers in WCBC history for the women. 9 Pro Tour titles. Only 3 women have more. They are Joanne Rosano, who we saw last year on the tournament. Also Stacia Zernicke, the late Stacia Zernicke, and Toni Marie Baldinelli out of Pilgrim Lanes in Haverhill has 10 wins.
Janet's an accounting clerk at TNT Vacations, where she works with retired pro bowler Marion Kelly. I asked her before the match where are the popular vacation places. She said Aruba and the Caribbean.
Really, more so than Orlando
places.
and the Disney World?
She told me.
Wow. Well, this being January, that sounds good to me.
Spare for Janet. First mark of the second string. Now Toni Wellspring. 4 horsemen left side, piece of wood in between. Wood's in a good spot. She can hit the head pin.
Wood's in a very good spot because usually if you hit it right, the 7 pin often doesn't go down.
Looks good. Spare for Toni Wellspring.
And the dog pound is coming out once again, as you can hear.
Played it well, right in the 1-2 pocket, and the wood certainly helped her. Now to fill the spare. She bounced that one a little bit, missed the head pin, puts just 3 in the spare.
This is not an easy one. It's a half Worcester with the 4-pin as well.
And she'll take out 2 on the right side. That'll be a 6-box for Toni Wellspring. So even with the spare, she just combined for 19 pins in the 2 boxes. Jack Daley will be working on the spare that was left for him by Janet Poch. The 1, the 2, and the 4 still stand as he puts 7 in the spare. Another spare for Jack Daley. 2 marks in a row. Chance for more bonus money. They already have $50 in bonus money. Right on the head pin and right through. Puts 3 in the spare. It's the spread eagle +1 with the 8-pin. Right behind the 2-pin.
Still got a bunch on the left side, with the lone 2-pin on the right.
And that will be an 8-box. Well, Shawn Baker needs to put a couple of marks together to get back in this thing.
Fans of the Pro Bowling Tour want to know that January 13th and 14th, the January Pro Tour stop is at Mohegan Lanes in Webster, dedicated in the memory of Hall of Famer Stacia Zernike. It's the Stacia Zernike Invitational Tournament. Women with averages over 100, men with 112+ averages invited to bowl. 13th and 14th. If you'd like information, you can get in touch with Mary Ann Kelly at 781-438-1314.
Well, he just missed another one very strange way by leaving a pin in the middle. Last time he left a pin on the left, you wouldn't have expected to miss, and this one is a 10-box for Shawn after almost making a very difficult spare. I want to remind you about the Pizza Hut in Nashua on Amherst Street, right down the street from Leda Lanes at 313 Amherst Street, on the opposite side of Amherst Street from Leda Lanes. They have a terrific luncheon buffet Monday through Friday. It's all you can eat. Many different varieties of pizza, and I'm sure you'll find one that you like. They have usually a pasta dish as well, and some breadsticks and salads, a couple of different types of salads. I like the Caesar salad they put out.
That.
And it's all you can eat. And I noticed that. And it's Monday through Friday from 11:30 to 1 at the Pizza Hut. 313 Amherst Street in Nashua, just down the street from Leda Lanes. 889-7710, 889-7710.
And they take care of our hungry crew every time we come to Nashua for our tapings.
So the spare for Shawn Baker in the 8th frame makes things a little bit tighter. Janet Poch now will finish out the 2nd string for her team.
By the way, our next taping is Tuesday, the 9th of January. If you're watching this for its first broadcast on Sunday, the 7th, we'd love to see you Tuesday starting at about 10 o'clock. Leda Lanes, Amherst Street in Nashua.
And by the way, Happy New Year to you all.
Hard to believe it was over a year ago. We were all so worried about the Y2K bug.
Wonder if we know who the president is yet.
Well, this being the 12th of December at this moment, although this is the day the Supreme Court supposedly was going to make that ruling. Everybody knows by now, obviously, with inauguration just a few weeks away.
That's a 9-box for Janet.
I feel like we're living in a time warp because, you know, this happened a month ago when we actually taped this.
93 through 9. Right on the head pin. Spare opportunity coming here with the 6 and 10 surrounded by wood on the right-hand side. Wood backing up a little bit.
Still good wood.
And that'll be a spare for Janet Poch in the 10th frame. 103 plus a ball.
Well, they came into this match with a 20-pin lead, and they've padded it with about another 15 or 20. at least.
Right in the pocket. She will put 7. She'll put 8. She'll put 9 in the spare. And finish with a 112 in the second string. And a 2-string total of 245 for Janet Poch and Jack Daley. And now it will be Toni Wellspring. Working on a spare. Now it crossed over to the Brooklyn side, put 6 in the spare.
It's the 5, 7, 8, 9. And the wood is now off into the channel.
She'll be open in the 9th frame. And she's going to need a spare in the 10th. Stay within that 20-pin margin. Needs a spare really badly. Right in the pocket. Can she break up the split? Yes. Happy to see that 9-pin go. And now she just has the 7-pin with a piece of wood leaning up against it to guide the ball. And she'll make the spare. Big spare for Toni in the 10th frame as she matches Janet's spare in the final box.
So it will be close to a 20-pin
20 pins, give or take.
Yep.
23, 24, depending on what she gets here. Oops. She's going to put 6 in the spare. And a second string of 107. A 25-pin advantage for the team of Janet Poch and Jack Daley going to the 3rd string over Toni Wellspring and Shawn Baker as we come back to Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire for the final string of this semifinal match in the mixed doubles competition on Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNBS TV. Shawn Baker will be first to bowl in the 3rd string. He will lead off the 3rd string for his team with Toni Wellspring, and on the other team of Jack Daley and Janet Poch, it will be Janet Poch leading off. They have the option in the 3rd string to choose who will go first. Shawn Baker with his team trailing by 25 pins.
But as we could see last week, capable of explosive bowling as they combined for a 420 triple. But they got their work cut out this game.
Will he pick up the spare? He'll not. The 7-pin will still stand. All they need to match last week's triple is a 200 this game. And Shawn starts out with a 9.
Shawn rated number 2 in the WCBC last year, right behind Steve Vadney, a gentleman we've seen on this show many times in past years.
And Shawn missed the head pin that time. The 1, the 2, and the 7. The 7 is rocking and still rocks, but still stands.
I think a pin needs to be knocked more than 8 degrees off axis for it to fall. I think I heard that statistic once.
Nice spare by Shawn that time as he played it well. Right in the 1-2 pocket. Watch it one more time. He just played it perfectly. And the ball took out the 7-pin. And now Janet Poch will lead off in the 3rd string for her team.
Which means she'll bowl 6 out of the 10 boxes in this 3rd and final game.
That's understandable. It's Jack's first time on television, and Janet has been on television 30 times.
And she's just got a tremendous resume and has certainly been in more pressure situations than Jack has. Not to say he couldn't handle it, but go with the percentages. 9 Pro Tour titles, WCBC Pro Bowler of the Year twice in 78 and 87, 88, and in 1991.
And that'll be a 7 box for Janet starting out.
So Toni and Shawn get a few pins back, depending on what Janet can do here in the 2nd frame. Got the diamond in the 7-pin in the left-hand corner. Piece of wood frozen on the back of the 5-pin.
not a great deal of help. Although it nearly was.
5 pin's going to wobble. Yeah, but almost got it. Came into play in the back door. That'll be a 9 box for Janet. And now Toni Wellspring working on the spare. Remember, they started the string 25 pins behind.
Well, the decent fill, they're going to get, well, half that back anyway.
I want to welcome Dexter Shue to our telecasts of Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS. Dexter Shue, one of the preeminent manufacturers of bowling shoes in the world. And we're happy to have them as one of our weekly sponsors on Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. You'll find Dexter Shoes at your favorite sporting goods store.
Well, look for the log cabins, the trademark stores that Dexter's had for many years. Triple Strike jackpot is up to $850 this week. The bonus ball at the end of the match today is worth $100. We can match up a postcard with what the selected bowler shoots at the end of the 3 games. Tournament of Champions resumes when we get back to men's singles in 2 weeks. 3 we've got seeded so far for the competition this spring: Gary Carrington, Gary Santora, and Mike Morgan, whose brother Tom bowls next week in the final week of our doubles competition.
Toni just missed a spare last box, and she has the 1 and the 7 right here, and she's not going to make it. And that'll be an 8 box for Toni. 42 through 4. Jack Daley steps to lane 34.
I don't think we mentioned he's 21 years old.
Buried at that time and leaves the 5 pin. Clear shot right at the 5 pin for Jack Daley. Not going to make it. Jack not pleased.
Yeah, pulled up at the end, took the ball right across his body and missed it to the left. Stayed down that time and covered it nicely.
That'll be a 10 box.
How painful must it be to watch yourself a few weeks after you do it and know the mistakes you make?
I guess it depends on whether or not you won or lost.
I was talking to Rich Hallberg, who shot a 307 about 2 months ago, and he said painful.
Did he watch it?
I'm not sure if he did or not. He was beating himself up pretty badly, though.
He may have watched it, but I'll bet he didn't tape it.
Good point.
Missed it again. So the team of Janet Poch and Jack Daley will be open through 4 frames of the 3rd string. And Shawn Baker and Toni Wellspring will pick up a handful of pins. It'll be about a 20-pin margin. That's a 10 box. It will be a 19-pin margin with 6 boxes remaining as we head down the home stretch. We're going to the break. Don't go away. A very tight match. Our semifinal match on mixed doubles competition on Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. Shawn Baker will step to line 34. A 19-pin lead for Janet Poch and Jack Daley over Toni Wellspring and Shawn Baker with 6 boxes remaining. Shawn's right on the head pin, but he leaves a split. The 2, the 4, and the 7 on the left, the 10 on the right. Piece of wood way to the right. Not sure what he was trying to do.
That ball gets down there so fast.
And that'll be a 7 box for Shawn. Not a good place for the 7 box. They need as many pins as they can get. They need marks is what they need.
Well, they've only got a 49.5. Not good. with only one mark.
That's a pretty good shot by Shawn. He'll put 9. Whoop, hold on, don't go anywhere.
Fat part of the pin didn't hit the standing pin.
Now a couple of pieces of wood surrounding the 3-pin. And that's a spare for Shawn Baker. In the 6th frame.
I think we mentioned before, Janet Poch was the only woman ever to qualify high enough on the Boston show, Channel 5, to actually bowl in the season-ending True Value Live tournament. This was, oh gosh, 1994, when she bowled against Bruno DeFeo and lost by just 2 pins. Confessed to being extremely nervous, and why not? First and only woman ever to make the season-ending show. She did not embarrass herself.
Well, she'll be open in the 5th frame, leaving the door open for Shawn and Toni. That'll be a 9 box. 45 half for the team of Daley and Poch. Up against a mark in the 6th frame now. If she does not mark, that would really tighten things up. Right on the head pin. You've got the 2, the 4, the 5, and the 7.
We've had just 1 strike today so far, huh?
That's the only one right there in the 2nd box of the 1st string. Look at that. Janet can't believe it. I can't believe it. Looked like she hit it perfectly, didn't it? And the 7-pin still stands. So things are getting tighter. And that'll be a 10 box for Janet. $21 pins less what Toni Wellspring gets on this ball. And she'll get an 8. So it's a 13-pin advantage.
And definitely a spare leave. It's 3 in the 6 with some frozen wood on the back of the 3. Nope.
Not going to make it.
And a problem she's had today is the ball not coming up from the right-hand side for whatever reason.
That's what she wanted to do the first time. Needing another mark. Toni Wellspring in the 8th box of the 3rd string. Missed the head pin. You've got the 1, the 2, the 7, and the 10, a piece of wood behind the 2-pin. Got a shot at it. Nope, missed the head pin. Head pin still stands. Ball just veered away at the last second. I thought it was going to grab the head pin, but it did not. $10 for Toni Wellspring, 87 through 8. Jack Daley looks for the first mark of the string for the team of Daley and Poch.
133 and 112 for that team so far.
Tough shot coming up. He just knocked over 3.
Nobody wants the match, it seems.
And one more. And pinning becomes very important right here. And that will be a 5 box for Jack Daley. 5 more pins gained by the team of Baker and Wellspring, box to box without a mark. And another tough shot, although there is some pretty good wood out there for Jack Daley right now, making this shot makeable.
If not,
the key being hitting the object pin. Gonna make it. Wow. Don't know how he missed it. Open again, so they're open through 8.
This match is within 10 pins now. 2 frames to go. Yep, it's a 9.
Be a 9 box. 7 pins. The margin. The lead for Janet, Poch, and Jack Daley. With 2 boxes remaining, and Shawn Baker will finish it up for his team.
And Janet will anchor for her team. At the very least, Baker needs 2 marks.
And he starts out with a half Worcester.
Without a mark here, it's almost over.
Not going to get the mark. Now he needs a double strike. And an 8 box. Definitely needs a mark at the least.
Tom Morgan, Karen McCormick take on the winner of today's match next week on Stars and Strikes.
Well, there's 1 strike.
One isn't going to get the job done, though. Got to have another one. Let's have another
Watch it
look.
one more time. Now the 5-pin last to go, as is so often the case. Shawn needs another one of those. A little thin. Won't get a double strike. Well, if he cleans these up, that'll be a 9. 9 in the strike. Well, that's 20 pins, Michael. So 2 10s.
Yeah. And had he gotten that spare,
that last
would have forced a mark.
Or the last pin, if he had
Yep.
a 10 box, it would have forced a mark.
So it's not over yet.
20
Pressure.
pins to tie. Not easy.
Janet's got to have a 10 here. If not, she'll need a double.
Not going to make the spare, but this pin becomes very important.
It's huge. Yeah, she knows how to handle pressure. That's why she's in the anchor position.
10 box for Janet Poch. 10 to tie, a mark to win.
We had a tie 2 weeks ago.
We could be looking at it again.
Very good possibility. It'll be a 2-frame roll-off. 1 bowled by the man and 1 bowled by the woman on each team.
Janet Poch. Wow. Wow.
No pressure here, huh? I'm feeling tense for her. I just want to hit the 4-7 cleanly on the first one here.
What a shot by Janet Poch. Whoa. How about that for Janet Poch? What a great shot. She makes the 4-7-10 to win the match.
Well, she needs to at least stay behind the foul line here.
And that will win the match for Janet Poch and Jack Daley with the spare in the 10th frame. Wow. We'll come back to meet our bowlers and look ahead to the championship match of our mixed doubles competition as we savor the great shot made by Janet Poch on Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. Right to the bonus ball contest. Jack Daley will represent the winning team of Daley and Poch. And it's a 6, and Mike Moran will dip into the bucket here and we'll pull out a card. And it is from Doris Willett of Billerica. She chose 7, not a match, a consolation prize for Doris Willett of Billerica. Great shot by Janet Poch, and on we go.
That's right, the top spot next week, Karen McCormick, and Tom Morgan will be here for the finals in the doubles tournament.
We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching, everybody. From Mike Moran and our entire WNDS TV crew, I'm Dick Lusk. We'll see you next time for Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV from Leda Lane. So long, everybody.